Okay, hi. So today I want to talk about how to set boundaries, how to approach boundary setting in a way where you can grow and deepen the relationship instead of souring it, and how not setting boundaries is actually going to make what you're most afraid of, which is probably people leaving you, happen. And then 4 steps how you can actually set the healthy boundaries that can nurture aligned connections. So I used to see boundary setting as protection. And so the way I would set boundaries was kind of like waving a sword around everyone around me, like while I'm teary eyed, because I was so scared of being hurt. And when I was first learning to set boundaries, it was kind of out of fear. And when you set boundaries from fear and defensiveness, it turns into hostility, which loses the true purpose of setting boundaries, which is to actually teach people how to treat you. It's about creating a condition for being loved the way you desire to be. And it should, if done right, really make your relationship so much stronger and so much more beautiful. But but the thing is, not having boundaries is way worse. So let me start there. If you don't have boundaries, it can create really painful scars, both in our hearts and in reality. I don't have a lot of regrets, but the only regret that it's still taking a long time for me to really forgive myself for is that I betrayed myself by not putting up my boundaries. So, and that therefore led to me failing to protect myself. So I really hope this can convince you to set boundaries, because it is worth it, and not setting it is not worth it. There's a key information that we all need to understand about relationships, and it is that how someone treats you is 50% their inherent character and 50% is what you teach them. We tend to think that we can, it's not about manipulating them. It is more so about people. We always learn from each other. We see how another person treats themselves, and we inevitably, subconsciously educate ourselves on how to treat them. When you treat yourself without respecting yourself, they will think that you don't deserve it. Because if you don't even think that you deserve what you want, why on earth would anyone else give it to you? So it is very important that you understand 50% of how another person treats you is actually up to you. Of course, the other 50% is about their own human decency and their own character, which has nothing to do with you. Which is why setting boundaries is so important, because it is about giving both you and your partner a chance. If your partner or whoever you're setting boundaries with actually has that good 50%, their character is good, they're willing to love you the way you deserve to be, but you never teach them how to do that, then the consequence for that relationship can never be happy, because you're not happy. But so you deserve a chance. That person deserves a chance. You guys deserve a chance to really try make this relationship be the best version that it can be, where both of you guys are happy and both of you guys know how to make each other happy. Okay, with that being said, I want to talk about how no boundaries is actually when you don't set boundaries, you're abandoning yourself. You need to understand that not setting boundaries is not a merely, oh, I'm very amiable, I'm just like easygoing. No. When it's more, especially when it's more serious things, you not setting your own boundaries is you abandoning yourself. It is not a mere choice. It is about you not abandoning you. When people don't set good boundaries, it is because we are scared that that person will leave us, or people will think we're too much, or we're too needy. You know, that's why we are so scared to set boundaries, right? And I 100% understand it. I really get it. I feel it to my bone. But, whoa, self abandonment will inevitably lead to abandonment by others, or being used by others. And I know this may sound really harsh, but this is what really woke me, like truly woke me out of my own difficulties in setting boundaries. And I do not mean to make you feel shameful. It is not to make you feel shameful. It is not something to be shameful for, to be such a beautiful, kind person who decided to put others before them. And I'm sure you had so many different reasons for that, so many different reasons for why you ended up doing that so naturally. But it is time to be a little bit more strict. So I say this with love, that by not setting our boundaries, we only make ourselves very easy to be used and easy to be replaced. Because your value in the relationship is no longer you and your own unique, special beauty that you bring to the table. It's your usefulness. It is your obedience. It is your convenience that you're bringing to the table, which is, I'm sorry to say, but it is replaceable. You can find any other person who is also pretty enough, who is also good enough, who is also, this also applies to like work, who's also has the same work abilities as you do, and then replace you with them. Now ask yourself, is that what you really want to be loved for? Is a connection, a person, or a relationship where you're being used, where you are kept for your usefulness and your convenience, really worth it to abandon yourself over and over, and ultimately make it that much more likely that you get abandoned by them too? I want to say no. There is no relationship, there is no person who is worth you abandoning yourself in order to just keep just for the sake of their presence, even when they're not really making you happy. You abandoning yourself first will not stop other people from abandoning you. All right, now we can finally move on to the 4 steps. So the first step is to first identify the specific action you're unhappy with and understand why it hurt you. Instead of just focusing on the actions, you want to delve a little bit deeper. How did it make you feel? Has this feeling been triggered before? What are the deeper reasons for why you dislike this action? And it's very crucial for you to avoid equating your perceived intention with their actual intention. Simply stating what they did wrong it will always sound accusatory. Like, it will always sound like an accusation, and it's like, how can you not get defensive when your loved one, your friends, your whatever, is anyone, like, tells you what you did wrong? It is such a normal human reaction to get defensive when that happens. So again, the common goal, we are not trying to trigger that kind of accusation tone and defensiveness. So just keep it in your mind that what you assume that they meant or their intention was may not always be like the truth. It's your perceived truth. And then the second step is determine what you'd prefer the other person to do instead. It's a lot more helpful, like psychologically, it is a lot more helpful to tell children even what to do instead of what not to do. It is better to give a replacement so that you are not just telling them, you hurt me, like, fuck you, like, that made me angry because you're not just like dumping all this at the other person, because the common goal is that you want at the end of the day, what you're doing is not to hurt them, what you're doing is not to fight them, it's to communicate that what they did was painful and you want something else, right? So you need to have some self-reflection first to identify exactly what you would want them to do instead of whatever they did. And try to think about it in the other person's shoes as well. Like, maybe, like, I don't, because sometimes people don't mean malicious. They don't have like malice. They don't need to have like bad intentions to hurt you. They might have just said it because that's their way of speaking, because they had their own reasoning, blah blah blah. So yeah. And then number 3, you will reflect on a common goal for both you and the other person. And this is really crucial step for a healthy boundary setting. You guys are not going at each other, okay? You're not trying to fight each other. You're trying to align so that both of you can give the love that you deserve, each of you deserve, which means you want to grow a healthy relationship. You don't want to break up. You don't want to end the friendship. You don't want to, like sour the relationship. You want to continue going forward. And that connection, keeping in mind that that is your common goal, that you guys are not enemies, you're not fighting each other, you're actually on the same side, is very important to establish for you as well, because as the person who's going to voice things out loud, if you don't recognize this, if you don't soothe yourself to tell yourself that they didn't do this because they don't love you, like, we have those assumptions that make us really hurt and angry, to be able to kind of like talk to ourselves and be like, there may be other explanations, and it doesn't always mean that they don't love you, they don't care, or anything like that. So let's, like, I understand your concern, but we will fix it. We will talk through it and clarify the situation. Okay, so do that for yourself, like, woo. And that's the 4th step. Yeah, the 4th step is calm your emotions. Like, give it some time. You don't need to, like, I used to always, when I'm angry about something, like, I need to exert it, but I realized that no matter how articulate or no matter how like calm I try to convey my messages, they don't come off. Even if I'm like saying it calmly, you can feel the hostility because I'm still not very processed with my emotions. And if you say it from that place, first of all, you may say things that you don't want to say, that you don't mean. And secondly, you might your communication itself will kind of fall apart, because now the whole vibe, the whole energy of this conversation is not to solve, it's not to communicate, it's to deliver my anger, deliver my dissatisfaction at the other person. So in the next video that I'm going to upload, hopefully tomorrow, I'm going to talk about what to do when you're still really scared to let go of that connection after they have proved to you and shown you over and over that they cannot meet the boundaries that you've set. And because I really understand, because I'm a very soft-hearted girl as well. Like, I'm a Pisces moon girly. I get that it's really difficult to let go of a connection. And hopefully what I tell you in that video can help you make that decision, because it really helped me. And I want to kind of elaborate a little bit more about boundaries, because I have some other points that I want to talk about on how to view boundaries so that it's a little bit clearer in your mind, or at least it was in my mind, and also maybe an example of how to apply that 4-step boundary setting in my real life, in my relationship right now. So if you'd like to see the video, please subscribe. Before you go, boundaries is not to put up an armor or a wall. It will be what allows you to get the love that you want in the way that you feel it. So don't be scared of setting them. All right, bye.